Hey guys, how's everybody doing? It's so good to be back. Ah. Hi guys, your alpha has returned. The prodigal son has returned with a new open mic night once again. It is February 25th, 2025. Currently now it is 10:18 here in New York on the East Coast. Wherever you are, guys, it is happy. I am happy to be here. As you guys know, I took a very long, somewhat break from live streaming for a while, and then of course this month I came back from my trip from Florida. I went to Megacon, my first convention of 2025. Had a good time down there, kicking it with me, bro, Mr. Multi and his queen, Julie. Shouts out to Julie again. Um, had a great time at MegaCon. Some very met people that I was shocked to see down there. Um, but also one of the biggest pleasures was meeting Lenore Zane, who is the voice of Rogue from X-Men, who is still killing it as Rogue, as you probably saw in X-Men 97. I will show you that image again if you'd like to see it. But yeah, man, it has been an amazing job. I'm sorry if my combinations are a little messy. I was cleaning up my room and didn't have time to finish. But yeah, man, it's been good, and I'm happy to be back, and I'm happy to be able to kick it with you guys for a while. So let's first things first. I want to make it perfectly clear. There are some things. If you're please note, no, I have not. I've still have been extremely busy though. No, I have not seen Captain America yet. I plan to see it. Actually, I plan to see it tomorrow. Um, uh, actually, I plan to see it tomorrow. Um, as I said, hold on, guys. I'm getting a text. Uh, there you go. Sorry about that. Hold on. Yeah. So, like I said, I plan to see it tomorrow. I try to get to see it tomorrow because I've just been busy this week and the prop this week and the prior week before that, so I didn't get to see it. But of course, the one thing I want to address real quick is hearing everybody bash this movie, and I'm like, what the freak is going on? Why are people bashing it? And every time I see somebody, one of these stupid idiots, come online and say and review it and say it was bad, it was this and that, then then you get like 10 to 15 people saying it wasn't bad. What are they talking about? And you know what it is? You know what it really is? Let's get real. Let's get real. It's this. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Don't sit there and deny that it ain't. And these people are stupid because the one thing about this is that pisses me off is that these people seem to forget that Anthony Mackie has been with the MCU since what, 2011? Huh? He's not a leading man. Oh, how do you know that? Because of what? You haven't watched any of his other films. He's been the lead in them. Shut up. Like, shut up. Just shut up with that stuff. But outside of that, guys, yeah, I've been busy, but I've been catching up on some things, and I knew some people were asking me, "Are you gonna come back with, you know, streaming live?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'm gonna be back. Don't worry, I'm gonna be back. Just give me some time. I'm trying to woosah, Uh, and I said, yeah, you know what? Let's surprise the pack tonight. Let's surprise them. And here I am, uh, surprised. Surprise! I hope you are surprised. Uh, anyway, uh, anyway, Sorry, I'm texting somebody. So yeah, guys, we're gonna wait for a while. We're gonna see waiting times of who's coming in. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes before anything comes. So if you have any questions, hold your questions. Um, I'll be right with you. But in the meantime, let's uh let's fix everything. Okay. Indeed. Okay. So yeah, let's give it a few more minutes. I can tell you a little bit more about, like, if you haven't watched any of my vids, I did put up my Megacon vlog. That was fun to put up. That was kind of tough too because I had so much footage. I had to edit some stuff out that just didn't feel like it needed to be there. So I just edited some stuff out. Um, One of the things I regret not doing enough of when I was at this MegaCon was interviewing more cosplayers because I was just enjoying it. Usually, I usually interview like 20 cosplayers, and there were so many I wanted, but then I'm just like, I don't want to bother them, or I just want to I enjoy it. But the ones I did, I had a lot of fun. I enjoyed that very much. But it's always good to go back to Orlando. I've been there to MegaCon 3 times, 3 times in my lifetime, and the Orange County Center is Convention Center is just huge. It's humongous, and yeah, like I've told many people down there, it makes the Jacob Javits Center, where New York Comic Con is held, look like a welfare case. I'm just going to say what it is. It takes up an entire city block. While the Javits Center does not. It's big, but it's not. Uh, I think when it comes to the Javits Center, it's more deep than width wise. So it's length, but width wise, it's not. Um, and I do have a list. I do have a list of conventions that I want to get to in my lifetime, and a lot of them are still on the East Coast. And before I start heading out west, um, and I love getting guys' opinions on it. Like, oh, you should add this to your list. I mean, I had a couple of people ask that you should add Comic Palooza to your list in Houston. I was like, Texas, okay, you know, um, you should add C2E2. I was like, the one in Chicago. Oh yeah, that's always on the list. Uh, then someone said to me, you should add Emerald Con. I was like, the one in Seattle. I said I always want to go to Seattle, so yeah. Um, and then people actually like, what's the big ones? What's the main ones that you want to get to? I said San Diego is definitely up there. I haven't been to California since the 80s. Like, that's how long it's been. Like, so yeah. Uh, but still East Coast. Like, I mean, there's one in Boston I want to get to. There's one in Philly. There's one in uh there's the Fan Expo Boston, Fan Expo Philly. There's HeroCon in North Carolina and Charlotte. There's Dragon Con in Atlanta. Blurred Con that's in Virginia. I think that's in Arlington. And there's smaller ones in Virginia, like there's the one in Virginia Beach that I want to get to as well sometime. C2E2 is up there. So yeah, there's ones I tell people all the time that there are ones. Um, so we're gonna kick it off, guys. I'm looking at the time, so it just gave you guys a little bit more, but that's cool. So we got Comic God, the God of Comic, and we have Caroline here, Travis is here, and Marion is here. And okay, so if other people come in, that'd be fine. In the meantime, let me take this text real quick. Um let me take this text. I just want to uh this is a text. um, it's a text. It's a text. Okay. It's a text. Um, Separation anxiety. So yes, guys, you can. I'm seeing people saying, "Can we talk about? Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man?" Yes, you can. I haven't put up my overview of that. I'm going to put that up, and put it up tomorrow. I did. I thought Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man was great. Indeed. Um, Hold on, Shadow. Green Goblin. Goblin. Um, let's, let's go. You're going to take. Okay. Booyah. All right. Okay. Sorry about that. It was I texting somebody. Okay. So let's see what we got here. People saying, "Hey, that's good." What? Jin who? Jin from where? Uh, uh, are you ready for Fatal Fury City of Wolves? Yeah, I'm interested in it. Of course, I'm a big Fatal Fury fan. Always have been. Recently, I was just rewatching the OVAs. I have the OVAs on Blu-ray, and I was watching the first two. Then I watched the motion picture. Those are fun. But I've always loved Fatal Fury more than King of Fighters. I was always more of a Fatal Fury guy. So I'm looking forward to it. And Chung Lee's gonna be in that one. So that I like this cross pollination with Street Fighter and Fatal Fury because Terry and Mai are in Street Fighter 6. So stuff like that. I'm nervous this year on November 26th. I joined Club 20. Oh my god, you still a baby. You're a pup. I'm gonna start calling you that. I'm gonna start calling you that. You're the pup of the pack. You really are a pup. No offense, but you are. You're a pup. Wow. Hey Chris, it's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while because haven't I haven't been streaming, but I've been uploading things on my channel for a while now. I'm hoping you guys have been watching the things I have uploaded on the channel. No offense, but I'm just like, don't just come for you subscribed. When you hit that button, you subscribe. You mean you subscribe to everything I put up. You don't, it's not just the live stream. No offense. Uh Dwayne McDuffie, the nerd, the racist nerd in interview. Uh what about Dwayne McDuffie? I haven't What are you talking about? Correct me on that. Um who is more hard to kill, Michael Myers or Hihachi? Hihachi. I'll just put it like that. Did you hear about Wonder Woman's video game being canceled? Yeah, I heard it from Gail Simone. Yeah, she okay, let me put it like this. I've been asleep all day. I had a long night last night. Um and I came in this morning and I just went right to sleep. I didn't get up till like 6 o'clock in that night this evening. So I'm fully awake. Okay, yeah. So I'm fully awake. It's gonna be a while before I even go to sleep tonight. If I go to sleep tonight, because I just had a long night. So yeah, but I heard that. I mean, look, I I I get it to a degree, but it's just like, why didn't you finish that? Um, I don't know how well in the process they were. Did they even start production on the game? I don't know, but Gail told me, and I was like, oh, really? Like, what the hell? Like, why? Like, and so that was a sad moment because I really wanted to play that. I was hoping that this Wonder Woman game was going to probably feel like God of War. I was like, yeah, just Wonder Woman style. You know what I'm saying? Uh, because a lot of them aren't even out yet. So it's going to be at the end, all the time at the end of the month. Texan. Uh, what else we got here? Okay. Uh, I'm loving Invincible season 3, and we almost there to the conquest fight. Yeah, that's coming up. I know that's coming up real soon. But I told you his brother was there. So what scene in X-Men 97 was emotional hard for you to watch? Gambit's death. Even though I saluted him because he went out like a G, but it was still hard to watch that, and then hearing uh hearing basically Rogue say, I can't feel you. I'm like, and speaking of Rogue, let me break into that real quick. Again, um, for anybody who didn't watch my vlog, I put up. Uh, I didn't even notice, but when I was in Megacon, I got to meet the actress who voices Rogue, who's been voicing Rogue since day one, Lenore Zane, and she was such a sweetheart. She was such a sweetheart, and it that meeting kind of made up for not being able to meet other favorite voice actors like Kevin Conroy. I always wanted to meet Kevin Conroy, and every time he was at a convention, I would miss him because he was either only there for a day or his line was just extremely too long. And it's not that I didn't have the patience, but sometimes you just you there's so much you want to do at a convention, and you sometimes you can't do it all at once. So it made up for that. And like I said, she was so sweet. And after she signed something for me, and then we took a picture. I was talking to her for a while, and I didn't know her assistant who had my phone. She was recording the interaction, and like I said, I'll probably put up just that interaction. I'll put it up on a short. I'll make a short of it. But I had no idea. And then I looked on my phone to see the pictures, and I'm like, oh shit. And then I saw there was something recorded. I'm like, oh, she recorded that. But she was really sweet, really fun. And this is also the actress, for anybody who doesn't know. Y'all remember Outlaw Star? She voiced Asia Clan. Um, and so when I came up to see her, she was like, which photo do you want me to sign? And she said choose, and she had it on her bin like all different Rogue photos. And I said, I want this one. And she's like, oh, okay, you want that? That's a good one. The one where Rogue goes rogue. And so she signed it. She signed it Here's the picture. She signed it, and it reads, "Hey Chris, hey Chris, sugar, love you, Lenora Zane, aka Rogue." And so I had a good time talking to her for a short while. We did. It was like a minute we talked, and I just told her, like, I said, Rogue is not just my favorite one of my favorite X men, X women. She's actually my favorite female in comics before everyone else. And I told her, I was like, before you, nobody, there was no voice for Rogue. None. Not a voice. There was no voice for her. She'd been out since the 80s, but she was never animated in any Marvel animated video or show. When they did do the X-Men from like Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, Rogue wasn't there. When they did the pilot episode of in 1989, Pride of X-Men, Rogue wasn't in that. That Rogue wasn't on the team. So she legit is the voice of Rogue. So, and I told her this. I said, when I read her now, even when I read her now, I still hear your voice. I told her, I was like, when this show came out in the 90s, I was only 10, but I was already well established into the X-Men. I love the X-Men. They're my favorite team in comics. So, and I just hearing her, I'm just telling her, and then she hugged me, and I said, "You have a good day," and it was beautiful. I almost cried because it was so sweet. She was just so she was such an angel. I was like, man, she's really, really sweet. I mean, there were girls dressed up as Rogue, and one girl, what I saw, she was on her knees crying, and I'm like, and I get that. That's why I don't when I see people like cry and at like a celebrity or just a voice actor and says you are the definitive voice of this character and they're crying about it. I'm like, I get it because I know what that feels like. I've been there. I've been there. I nearly cried. And you can't really tell in the video if you watch it, but it's there. You can't really see it, but it was fun. I had so much fun talking. I did not know Lenore, her assistant, was filming that. Um, it was just fun. Um, anyway, so yeah, that's my a Rogue story. Katsuya versus Lady Shiva, just hands, no powers. Well, tie. Um, friendly neighborhood, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man was great. Yes, it was. It was very good. It was a great blend of, and I'm glad that it's an alternative MCU. It's not the MCU because that's what it was. The show was originally going to be like the early years of Peter in the MCU, but the creators they were being stuck in a bubble. They needed to branch out. So I love that they did that instead of Peter being mentored by uh by Tony, it's him being mentored by Norman Osborn. And I don't care that this Norman Osborn is black and things like that. I don't care. He's still Norman. Like, I don't care what anybody says. But I like the whole combo of adding characters like, Nico Minora and, from the Runaways and all the other characters that Marvel has been introduced. A lot of the Filipino characters and things like that. And I love the touch on they touched on his different costumes that Peter has worn throughout his career, even the ones that were when he had to go undercover as different heroes like Prodigy and Dusk and Hornet. And we got the Future Foundation costume Daredevil was in it, and Finesse, and you know it was so good. It was, and just seeing the storytelling, the character development with the characters, not just Peter, but the supporting characters. I mean, Lonnie's story is just wild, and it's going to be very sad to see him really kind of turn to, I guess you could say, the dark side. He's going to be a very tragic villain, like Mr. Freeze was. You know, and they don't sugarcoat like the violence. Sometimes, I mean, the Scorpion scene was just crazy. You see Peter get stabbed in the shoulder, and Scorpion. You got to remember, Scorpion at that point, Scorpion is beating up a like a 15-year-old kid. Like the fuck, like they were showing that. Um, More importantly, it is. I hear people talk about the art style. Like, I don't like it. I'm like, that is straight Steve Ditko. Go back and read the first original run of Spider-Man. That's how Peter looked, the glasses, everything. And I actually love the music, the opening theme. Like, yeah, the fact that there's an opening, I love that. Um, so yeah, and we're gonna see, like, and it's been renewed for 2 more seasons already. So people have been loving it, and just the sheer amount of, and then that bombshell at the end of the episode. That bombshell was crazy. Peter's dad is alive. He's alive, and he's in jail. Voiced by, I didn't even know it, but voiced by Josh Keaton, former Spider-Man voice actor himself. And I was like, that's Josh Keaton. Cool. Richard Parker is alive. Now the question is, why is he in jail? And why is Aunt May keeping this a secret from Peter? What I also love is the moment you knew this was different, because once they zoomed out and they showed May's ring, and I'm like, oh, she's married. And I was like, and they mentioned Uncle Ben. And I know there's people that's like, Kevin Feige, said we don't need to tell that story again. You don't have to tell it. But that character is essential to this character's development. So it was really weird to see that Peter got his powers before after the death of Uncle Ben. And so, and I love the whole concept of uh Norman basically saying, with great power comes great respect. And I'm like, I remember when that episode came in, and I was like, you better not say that. Don't you say those words. Don't you? I said, if it ain't said by a Parker, shut up. Like, shut up. So I'm glad that it's not, and I'm hoping that somewhere down the line, it is maybe Peter. I have a feeling Peter's going to hear it from his dad that your uncle used to say this to me. My brother used to say this to me, and there it is. I don't care what it is. That's why I didn't mind when Aunt May said it in the last movie. I was like, oh, thank God it was a Parker that said it. But just don't be no. You could clearly see throughout all 10 episodes, you can clearly see the building of the Norman just scheming. It's like, you can't trust him. You can't trust him. You can't trust him. What am I? Have you watched Creature Commandos yet? No, I have not. I will actually be doing live reactions to Creature Commandos, but it will be on my Patreon. It's going to be on my Patreon for all members. I think I'm doing it for all members. I think I could be wrong, but yeah, not yet. I plan to. I went to my Patreon and asked my Patreon, I was like, "Hey, would you like me to watch Creature Commandos and a watch along reaction?" And I most people voted yeah, and so I said, "Okay, I'll do it." Um, have you also heard about DC's? Yeah, I heard about the cartoons. I'll be talking about those later. I'm not going to give too much away here, so just watch out for that. Yeah, Starfire's getting one, and My Adventures of Green Lantern. Look, I understand. I know they're going to use Jessica Cruz, but again, what the fuck, man? Like, no. Again, they constantly keep pissing me off when it comes to Green Lantern. Like, why are you guys keep negating Kyle Rayner? I'm getting tired of that. I'm like, huh? Like, I get it, but then I'm like, yes, she is the first. Jessica is the first Earthling female Green Lantern. I get it. I get where they want to go with, and yes, her story can be good because Jessica suffers from anxiety, so that she's always in a rut of like trying to deal with her mental health and wearing this ring. And if they could really play off of that, that is good, could be really good storytelling if they do it right. But again, I'm just saying, like, we got the Lantern show coming out. Who's in that? Hal and John Stewart. We got Superman coming out. What's the Green Lantern in that? Guy Gardner. Where's Kyle? My favorite Green Lantern. Come on, man. Pisses me off. Did you watch Red Ranger became adventure? What? Red Ranger? No, I don't know. Um, I'm talking about from Tekken with Cassandra. Uh, I nah. Do you like the Dreamcast or Sega Saturn? Which is better? I have both. I still have my Dreamcast. I missed I missed the Saturn. The Saturn had a really good lineup of fighting games that I loved, and a lot of my fighting games, some of them also were imports. You take the import, this little cartridge, you put it in the back, so the system can read it as an American, and that's where I had a lot of my game system from. But I love the Dreamcast. I still have all both Power Stones. I miss Power. I would love to see Capcom do another Power Stone. Um, that's where we all fell in love with Shenmue. Um, and I have all the Shenmue games. Um, Dreamcast, definitely. I'll definitely give it a Dreamcast because it was ahead of its time, and I still feel I wish Sega did not become a third party company. I wish they stayed a first party company, and because I still feel they would still be uh, in contention with the Sonys and the Nintendos and the Microsoft. Uh, Warner Brothers don't like money. I guess not. I think I missed somebody? Fuse, Liu Kang, and Kung Lao, and Shang-Chi, and plus Iron Fist. Well, I would remove Kung Lao because I don't need that cocky butthead being around. Look, Kung Lao is just too cocky, and I don't need him being a. That's a pretty good Fuse, but I don't want him being cocky. Uh, we have Marion says, I wonder why the Wonder Woman game got canceled. I need to look into it more. Uh, if it is money or time, it's stupid. If it got canceled before it even went into production, fine. But if it was in production, I don't care if it was 5%, 10%, 20%. Why'd you cancel it? Because if you cancel it just to put another Batman game, then I'm gonna be pissed. Because I've already heard rumors that they're working on another Arkham game, and I'm like, why Arkham? Huh? But then I'm hearing rumored it could be a Batman Beyond game. I'm like, I'll take that, but not another Arkham game. Okay, what more can you do in that the Arkham universe? Huh? Uh yeah, I just talked about that. That might be a I just said that. I just talked about that. I'm loving the new Green Lantern series because it focuses on different lanterns outside of Hal and John. Really the Lantern series. I mean, it has it. I'm not reading it. I think I'm reading it in trade, so I don't know what's going on yet. It focuses on a lot of characters, but there's a John Stewart this solo series called War Journal. So yeah, another Tekken. What that says? Uh, if Jin Kazuya, what if he was in the DC universe? What team would he be joining? Teen Titan? He wouldn't be joining none of them. Why would he? Why would he join Teen Titans? He's not a teenager. He's not a teenager. And why would he join Young Justice? He's older than all of them. He's not joining any team. He's not that kind of character. Like that's not. I think you have to understand what the Titans are. The Titans are teenagers. They're the Teen Titans are teenagers. The Titans are the prior Teen Titans. So we're talking Wally West and Dick Grayson and Starfire and Donna Troy and Cyborg and um, Garfield, Beast Boy, all even though he's a grown man, but yeah, like they're grown, but he's not. Jin's not he wouldn't be. He would be a loner. He'd be a loner. He'd be somewhere in the same category of like Richard Dragon or somebody like that. He's not joining any team. We got some messages retracted. What's up, Tevin? Marion, you asked me, hey Chris, how different do you think the ending of the first season of X-Men 97 would have been if it would have been had Wolverine actually killed Magneto? And how do you think Rogue and Sunspot would have reacted? Um, if Wolverine had killed, I knew they were. Well, here's the thing about that. He wasn't going to kill him because I knew where they were going with this. I was like, this is Fatal Attraction. They're adapting the Fatal Attraction storyline. And so yes, when he stabbed him, I'm like, all I was waiting for, I'm just waiting for him to remove the adamantium from him. And yep, and as soon as it happened, I'm like, Fatal Attraction. It was never going to happen. Um, so I was glad to see that. Now the big question is, will they start to adapt when it starts happening to Logan after he got his adamantium removed? I think a lot of people forget that the adamantium is poison. That's why Wolverine's healing factor is almost always in overdrive. It's poison, so it keeps he's constantly healing. His body is always constantly he's almost always got his healing factor in overload always. But once he got that removed, he started to become more feral like and looking different and things like that. Similar to why Sabretooth, excuse me, why Sabretooth looks so much more feral, why he looks more like a real like animal and compared to like he looks like he's morphing more into an animal or he's a animal that's morphing into a human. That's the same thing that should be happening to Wolverine in a sense. And when we start to see that where he starts looking more just look animal like and he starts getting more hairier than he already is. And if you never read that stuff, I always recommend going back to reading those. And you just see like Jubilee is just trying to keep him from going completely feral, and he Wolverine distanced himself from the team a lot because he can't trust himself. And it's scary. It's scary what happens to Logan during that time. But I was never that never crossed my mind because I knew where they were going with that story. And I knew where they were going with Fatal Attraction. I knew where they were going with that. Could the X-Men beat Omni-Man without Professor Xavier? Yes. Yo, with all due respect to Voldemites, Vildramites, they're not that powerful. In their universe, yes. But there are several X-Men I can see killing him if they need to. He's not invulnerable. We know he's not. Just because Professor Xavier ain't there, you got other telepaths. Gene could shut his mind down real quick. Okay, I'll shut him down. Rogue alone, I'll take him out. Could you imagine Rogue touching him? Like, that's it. Like, people tend to forget, like, yes, you got Professor Xavier, the most powerful mind, but it's not they're not they're not that invulnerable. Like, they're not like Kryptonians. When a Kryptonian sucks up enough, absorbs enough sunlight, yeah, they become literal gods. Viltrumites are not gods, and they can be killed. They're tough, but they're not that tough. What would be the dynamic uh be for what would the dynamic be for Wolverine and Vegeta? I don't know. That's a weird combination. I don't know. I I really don't know. Let's see. I wish Street Fighter do this speaking different language like Tekken when they do different languages around the world. Well, no, I don't, because that's Tekken. Let that stay with Tekken. You want to you want to keep yourself different from each other, and well, not really, because Dio Dead or Alive does it too. So I don't mind that Street Fighter doesn't do it. If Street Fighter does it, you know, you could have them speak in different languages. Just turn off the English dubbed. But no, I don't really care about that. It works for Tekken. It works for Dead or Alive. You know, you can say that about, okay, why don't they do that for Mortal Kombat? They don't need to. Um, what voices do you hear in a Spider-Man comic and the new Ultimate Spider-Man? Uh, that is not a hard question, because when I read Spider-Man, I hear um I actually hear Josh Keaton. I hear his voice. It's either him or um uh who else I hear? Um uh I hear I don't hear Christopher Barnes, who voiced him in the 90s. I don't. I really don't. Um it's either Josh Keaton or Neil Patrick Harris. There we go. Who voiced him before. So yeah, I do hear those two voices. I never hear Toby. I don't hear Toby Maguire. I, I don't hear Andrew Garfield or Tom Holland. No, I don't hear them. You know, if you ask me Wolverine, I hear Cal Dodd. I hear Cal Dodd instantly. With Batman, same Kevin Conroy. That's the voice I hear when I'm reading Batman. Um, Superman, I hear it's a difference depending on how Superman is written, but most of the time it is Christopher Reeves. I hear his voice. If not Christopher Reeves, I hear Tim Daly. Hear his voice. Let's see. Next question. This is from Travis. You ask me, like the art style for a Friendly Neighborhoods. Looks like the comic. Yeah, because it's Steve Ditko's style. It's Steve Ditko, the co-creator of Spider-Man. So yeah, it's perfect. What do you think of uh the X-Men 97 drama? Oh, we talking about I just try to stay out of that stuff. I ain't trying to get mixed up in that. I think it's stupid, and personally, but if you if you, I mean, you also got to look at it from this point of view. If you have yourself an OnlyFans account and you're working for a very publicly traded company like Disney, you think they want you having that? Like, you got to be a little smarter than that. I'm just saying, like, all the other stuff, just, it's noise. Just, you got to also you got to also take accountability for your own as well. Don't just say, oh, well, it's this fault and that fault. No. What did you also contribute to it? Why did they do it? You got to look yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, what did I do wrong? What did I do as well? Did I do something wrong? Oh yeah, I had this. Why didn't I shut that down? You know, yes, and not everything on OnlyFans is traded, okay? But it's still like when you think of, I mean, that's what people think of. Like, let's be real. Um, does Kazuya still love his wife June? Uh, not really. In the last game, didn't show any kind of love for her. So, I was excited for the new. I'm excited for. I was excited for the DC, but after Wonder Woman game being canceled, I'm just like, I can't trust them. Well, you gotta kind of get out of that. Like, with that has nothing to do with the game. Okay, the game is a different sector from animation, and I tell people that all the time. Like, okay, that may have happened there, but what's stopping you from liking or getting excited for what's to come for from this company? I can't. That's not me. I can't. That maybe work for you, but that does not work for me. I'm like, oh, they canceled the Wonder Woman. Oh, fuck them. Nah, I can't be like that. No, it's still like, to me, they canceled. Okay, is it gone forever? No. Who knows? They may start it up again. You always got to find a balance. Start it up again. They could start it up again. They could go a different route with it. But at the end of the day, no, I'm not gonna be like, oh, screw them. Oh, I can't get excited for that. To me, I'm like, I can't wait to see Superman. I can't wait to see what I can't wait to watch that Swamp Thing movie. I can't wait to see this. Like, nah, I can't be that. That's not me. I can't. Uh I just find it funny that you got characters. If you want to be honest, they kind of skipped Kyle. Period. If they're going, you got Hal, John. They were first. Guy came next. Kyle was the Lantern of the '90s, and he was not even just he wasn't just a Lantern of the Night. He was the Lantern of the '90s. He was the torchbearer. He's the one that rebuilt the Lantern Corps, and DC still seems to not give this man his respect. Give him his flowers. He deserves it. And you telling me that you can't? You're skipping him again, doing him dirty, and like, oh man, we got enough. Let's move on. That's fine. It's just, I don't hate it, but I'm just like, how much longer can Kyle Rayner fans take before they start calling DC out? I'm like, yo, what are y'all doing? Like, why do you keep forgetting Kyle? Uh DC likes to bury some, seems to be. I agree with you. I'm tired of John and how it's not that I'm tired of him. I just think they're overexposed. They're way overexposed. Everything is always around Hal and John. And it's like, okay, we know who they are. I mean, if you go back into the Tomorrowverse, the Green Lantern, that remember that the Green Lantern story, the one with John, that was Kyle's story. That wasn't John's story. That was Kyle. And it was just, it's just like, wait, I'm looking at that. I watched that movie. I'm like, this is Kyle's story. Why are they skipping Kyle? Why they just go with Kyle? You know when the last time they used Kyle over anybody was the Superman the animated series. And how long ago was that? The anime Red Ranger came. Yeah, I know who. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's why I said it's probably a manga or so. Do you uh uh what does that say? Okay, God of Comics says, do I cannot wait to see the conquest fight in the show is going to be the most bloodiest. Yeah, oh yeah. Seeing what Mark does to him is ridiculous. Again, I'm prepared for all this stuff because I've read the books. So I know what comes next. And that conquest fight is going to get sick. Uh what team ups do you want to see in Marvel DC crossover? Well, first and foremost, there are only two one shots right now. One is going to be called Marvel DC. The other one, I think, under DC is called DC Marvel. So I, there's too many to go into detail. You know, I definitely want to see Daredevil meet up with somebody, Spider-Man meetups. You know, Batman meet up somebody. I would love to see them think outside the box a little bit more with that. I would love to see Mr. Terrific and like Reed Richards meet up. That'd be great. Get two brains in the house. That'd be great. If Doctor Doom met Doctor Wily from what would be man? You should have used. I got a Mega Man Q&A coming up soon. You should have saved this if you're part of my Patreon. Yeah, you should have used that. Uh, Doom would think Wily's a doofus. He'd probably kill him. DC and Warner Brothers hates Wonder Woman. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. Uh, do you think Cora deserves the hate she gets? No, I don't. Um, I don't think she deserves the hate she gets. I understand the concept of making her be able to do everything right away outside of Aang, and I'm looking forward to the new stuff that's coming out for Avatar and the new series that's now it's going to be an Earthbender as the Avatar. So yeah, but no, Cora doesn't. I don't think she deserves that kind of hate that she gets. You know, I get the only thing I can think of the reason why they did that was like kind of explaining like females mature faster than boys, and I was just like yeah, but there are points in my opinion I'm just like okay, you're not giving us the storytelling of the struggle like Aang. Like Aang was he was an airbender, but then he had to learn fire to bend fire and do water, and he learned started to do water pretty well real quick, but it was just fire and earth. So it was cool to see that the training and him building up to mastering all the elements. But with Korra, it was like, okay, now you got to add a nuance to that of why is she able to do it so quickly? They did it in reverse, but no, she doesn't deserve that. Did you hear about Avatar? I just talked about Avatar. Just that's great. Can't wait. Do you remember comic the comic book when Johnny he was in love with Drone's Drone's wife, Doom's wife, and yeah, that was the last run of, and Doom basically kept him on fire. Johnny couldn't turn off his fire. That was like a punishment. It's big dog barking out there. Who's your favorite Sonic villain outside of Eggman? Mine would be Metal Sonic. I guess Shadow or there's parts of even Knuckles because he wasn't always he was looked at as an antagonist, especially in the third one. Uh, I made a poll on my Instagram and I asked everybody who is the best Android, and people picked Metal Sonic, and let's vote for Cell. I check. Oh, okay. Doro making deals with demons is a bad idea. Yeah, I'm still finishing Doro Doro. I just put up the latest vids and of that on my Patreon, and I was loving that. Like I'm glad everybody's liking my reactions to those. I actually made shorts of some of my reactions for the last episodes, and getting to see Hajime, him actually being able to talk again. I was like, oh, that's he almost let the beast out on these guys after this. I was like, oh, it got really hard in those last episodes. Which was more scarier, the xenomorph or the aliens from Dead Space? I'm not scared of the xenomorphs, so it don't bother me. It's not the xenomorphs that scare me. It's the other thing that scares me. And the Dead Space aliens don't scare me neither. So sorry, wrong person to be asking that to. Uh, Oliver Grayson always has brother back. He was in trouble. Yeah. My friend asked me this question. He asked me, "What Robin will Jin Kazama be? Jin he will hate." Um. I, oh, there's a lot of Jin questions. Jin is not much of a like. He kind of keeps to himself. I don't know. Just be weird. I just can't pick Tekken and DC. I really can't. Also, have you heard about the Buffy the Vampire Slayer revival series? Yeah. They talked to Sarah Michelle Gellar about it. I think she was a little shocked at it too, but um, would I mind seeing something new with the friend? Yeah, I wouldn't mind. Um, but yeah, it's cool. Rather do I, Angel, but that's me. I agree. Everybody on Instagram. Oh, okay. Hope to see Jackie and the new Witchblade series reboot. Well, if you should be reading the relaunch of Witchblade, Marjorie Bennett is doing a great job on she's doing a great job on that, like the retelling. And if it does well, then yeah, you'll most likely will see Jackie come back, the darkness, which is really cool in my opinion. Let's see. Dog feel by his own people. Yeah. In Castlevania anime, do do you think Dracula's grief and wrath towards the villagers that killed his wife justified it? Was the one time I sided with the villain? Um. Well, grief will make you do a lot of things that you shouldn't do, that you will regret later in life. But this was a guy who, his wife was killed by her own village, pretty much. And instead of letting her be, they killed her because of her ties to him. To a degree, but I would have just, I hate to say this, but he could have just punished that village. not the entirety and the entire humanity. No, and that's why, and so that's why, like I said, Alucard understood that better than anybody. You know, uh, Luke from Street Fighter, he will never ever be the face. Yeah, that's stupid. I don't stop. Capcom need to stop doing that. Trying to make the new face of no stop. Ben Awatu asks thoughts on the new He-Man teaser. I saw that teaser, and it's the actor holding the power sword. You just see the sword of power and him. You don't see anything else. You just see a little bit of his body, and it's in a dark scene. And I'm saying to myself, I'm saying, please, 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 comic gods, geek gods, please, please let this be good. I said, please don't let this fail, because they recently casted Fisto and the Sorceress, and the actress Marina uh, Baxin, who played uh, who was in Deadpool and who played in Gotham. You know, is I think she played Leslie Thompson, I think, or she was some woman. But yeah, she's gonna be the sorceress. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Even though I would have chose her to be Evil Lynn because she's got darker features, but it's fine. Um, Imagine Dante meeting his reboot self. What do you think? Yeah, it's I don't. I think he would. Dante would just be like, "So you're supposed to be me? Like, dude, come on. Like, are you? What are you? Like, are you half demon?" And the fact he was probably no, I'm half angel. I think I don't know. It just Dante would probably be like, "What's with the emo look? Like, you look sick. What's wrong with you?" Like stuff like that. Like I could see, but I think he was just like, hey, "You want to go get a slice, get some pizza and a milkshake?" And if he says, "I don't," I think that okay. Ugh. I think the Punisher is kind of doing the right thing about thing, but it's killing people. I know that bad. Um, if you think it's right, then something's a little wrong with you. Yes, it is. It is. He's lashing out because of what happened to his family, but he's playing judge, jury, and execution, and it doesn't matter. Sometimes he'll just kill the kill, and that's the reason why the superhero community doesn't like him very much. Is like, yeah, like he'll kill drug addicts and things like that because he doesn't believe in recovery and things like that. I remember he nearly killed the drug and Daredevil had to stop. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, certain things. I love Frank. Don't get me wrong, but there are times I'm like, yo, Frank, you went too far. Like, chill with that. Like one of my favorite scenes is when where it kind of showed that okay, he there is something up there. It ain't all just about the mission. It was when he was talking to a cop, and the cop basically showed him that, hey, we support you, and see, look, we got your skull, and he said, take that off. Basically said, take that off. Don't be like you should not be almost like, yeah, okay, that's great. No, he understands what he does, but it's just like, yeah, you know, two rights don't make a wrong, or yeah, two wrongs don't make a right. Like things like that it's just kind of weird. Let's see what we got. What would Skeletor do to Deadpool if Deadpool ever got on his last nerves? Anything he wants. Yep. Let's see. What would Sinister do to Deadpool? I think they've met before. So, have you ever seen Soul Leveling? It's on the list to watch. I've read one manga, so yeah. Recipe to Tony Todd. I can't wait for his final game of Venom. Uh, Tony Todd's final performance, I believe, is the next Final Destination. I just made this a fanfic about Spawn meeting Ultimate Captain America. That's weird. Where'd that come from? Like, yeah, that's a little weird. Uh that's kind of weird. Ben, the Wild 2X's, what was your favorite TV shows growing up? My favorite TV shows growing up. Um TV shows. You didn't say cartoons. Okay, so TV shows growing up, I was of course a huge Knight Rider fan. You know, yeah. A huge Kit. I loved Kit. Michael Knight was cool. I was a huge A-Team fan, so I loved, Hannibal and Faceman and Howling Mad Murdoch and BA, Mr. T. Uh, I loved, we'll stick with the 80s. I was a huge MacGyver fan, and these are shows I still watch to this day. Like, if they show reruns of it, or I have like sites that stream it, I'll watch it. I was a huge Golden Girls fan. I was a Golden Girls fan before it was cool to like that show in a sense. I love Golden Girls. Um, so I love watching that. I was a huge my parents allowed me to watch Miami Vice, even though I shouldn't be, but they always felt it was okay for me to watch stuff like that because it was legit. It was real. It was, Sonny and Crockett and Tubbs. Um, let's see what else. Different Strokes, Punky Brewster, Perfect Strangers. All those shows, man. I missed those shows. All them shows I watched. I watched all them shows. And then of course the 90s came around, and you had your Family Matters, and your Full House, and your probably all them shows that were on, TGI Fridays, like Step by Step. And I watched all those shows. You know, I was a huge I watched all of them. But I tend to stick with a lot of my favorite 80s programming. Like, I still watch those to this day. A lot of my crushes came from shows from the 80s. Like 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 I still have a humongous crush on Alyssa Milano because I've got a crush on her since Who's the Boss. I was like, I like her. Like, I crushed on her hard. And the older she got, the more I crush her. I still crush on her now. Like, I'm like, oh, like I'm like, oh my God. Like, she turned into a beautiful woman. Um, had a crush on Kim Fields, who was from The Facts of Life. She played Tootie, and then went on to do Living Singles, and I still crush on her now. I'm like, yeah, it's crazy. I got a crush. I'm crazy. I'm a little nuts. Uh, so thank you, Ben, for those questions. Yeah, those questions like that take me back, growing up. So yeah. Would you who do you who do you has what who who do you who has the biggest who has the biggest ego? Starscream or Skeletor? Starscream. Can't wait for GTA 6. Yeah. Um I watched I washed. You mean you watched my video when you made a top 10 most hated characters. I was shocked and important. Damian Wayne was not on a, because that was just one list. It- that's just one list. It ain't all of it. They said 10. And that was a request. It wasn't top. It was just who was some of your, and I just gave 10 of my. Damien would have been on there. That's just one list. What's your favorite kind of Kool-Aid flavor? Oh my God, Kool-Aid. I usually mixed Kool-Aids together. It was always mixing lime and cherry or lime and lemon lime. So yeah. I can't wait for the live action Street Fighter. I wonder who's going to be playing. From what I hear now, what makes me happy now is that there's a new guy taking over, because I think he's directing it. Because when they said the guys from Rocka, I was like, fuck no with that. No, not those guys. I'm like, not those guys. No. You drinking Celsius? I've always drank Celsius. Yeah. Uh, I drink Celsius. That's a new flavor. A coworker gave it to me. It's called Retro Vibe. It's sherbet. I haven't tried it yet. Banawatu X's. Would you like a reboot of Tremors? Would I when it comes to reboots or remakes, I'm always gonna be 50-50 on it. But if they ever did a reboot of Tremors, it would really need, I would want it to be go it would go dark. Like, I want it dark and gritty, and not, no joking around. Like, this is a fucking serious creature feature of the Mongolian death worm, because that's pretty much what they are. They're supposed to be homage to the Mongolian death worm. If you know anything about cryptids, like I do, yeah. And what also made it interesting is and I would add nuances to the Mongolian. Like, if they did this, like, for example, the concept of the Mongolian death worm is that they just don't come up from the ground and grab you. They 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 get you by shooting a current. So they shock you first, and then they pull you down. That would be cool to do. But don't get me wrong, I enjoyed Tremors. I still love, Tremors. I love the first one. I love the second one. Then the third one, which was Back to Perfection, where we saw them change. Now they change again. This time now they're flying or gliding. They're called ass blasters, a stupid name. And then the fourth one was just showing like how long they've been around. And then after that, Michael Gross took over. By that time, Michael Gross had taken over the franchise, and good on him. But I actually wanted to see like what happened to Kevin Bacon's character. What happened to Val. We saw what happened to Fred Ward at Earl. But yeah, I would have preferred if we. But if they ever rebooted it, yeah, it would have to be a real serious contender of a horror creature feature that ain't funny. Is no joking in it. That's how I want it to go. Ain't nothing funny about this. You never has what when you have you ever had Wendy's seasoned potatoes? Yes, I love Wendy's. uh, I hate toxic. Who doesn't hate toxic Star Wars fans? Who doesn't like let me put this in perspective. Who doesn't like toxic fans in general? There you go. What are your thoughts on the Optimus Prime from the new Transformers comic? I love it. It's great. Agree. So that's yeah. Star Wars fans are the worst. Now, you got to be careful when you say that, because not every one of them are like that. So you can't put all of them in a bubble. That's why I don't say that. You can't put all of them in. They're not all. there's don't put them all in the bubble. Don't put you should say extremist Star Wars fans, the ones that can't dictate the difference between hating a character because of the character and hating the character because that character is a person of color. Let's just put it like that, because let's be real. Many times those extremists hating Star Wars fans, they hate these characters because of one reason: their gender or the content of the skit. And you want to know why? And I'll tell you why. It's a shame, because if the producers of these shows got to tell these actors who may be people of color, hey, listen, you're a part of this, but you have to be prepared. You're going to get hated. That's not good. That is not good. That says a lot to those types of fans. Like, and those streamers fans seem to forget a lot of times who the fucking voice of Darth Vader was. Forget the white guy you saw when he got his mask removed. No. To us, James Earl Jones is Darth Vader. Just put it like that. And that's real. Ever never never eat a whole bag of grapes on one sitting. You shouldn't do that for anything. God. Uh do you think Destin uh Daniel Cretton is a good choice for the upcoming Tekken? There's a new Tekken live action. I didn't hear that. Story are never happy. Depends on which ones. I'm happy. You see what I said? See what I mean by don't put Star Wars fan in that category? I'm a Star Wars fan. Just saying. Why does Donald Daffy Duck why is Donald Daffy Duck your favorite character? Why is Daffy Duck he's one of my favorite Looney Tunes. But I will put him over Bugs Bunny, because he's got more range than Bugs. He does. Uh the Skyborn comics, Optimus Prime is most emotional damaged out of pretty much. Yeah. uh what's the next question? The God of Comics asks is, if they make another mass movie, should it be rated R or PG-13? Uh, I couldn't care. Benawatu, rest in peace, Roberta Flock. Yes, indeed. What a legend she was. And most people in the chat probably won't even know who that is. That shows my age. And it just shows Ben. I, uh, but her voice, the songs that she has sang were great. I mean, songs like "The Closer I Get to You." Oh, that song. Oh, that's Chef's kiss right there. Um, she's just so many songs that she's done, and she passed. I think it was yesterday. She passed, and like I said, another legend ascends. Grammy winner. She was great. She was talented, and whenever an artist whose music captivates captivates you, it always is tough. It always is tough, especially for me. Especially artists that I love, artists that I grew up listening to. And for me, my mother, my parents, I wasn't just listening to music of the era. Like my parents had all types of music playing every morning when I got up for school and things like that. When my mom would make breakfast, like Motown was playing all the time. Songs from the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. Of course, yeah, 80s, great. Of course, but yeah, it was always playing. Like I heard more songs. I knew more about Motown than most kids growing up knew. So yeah, I was listening to before Michael Jackson. I was listening to Jackson 5, growing up, and that's why I'm such a humongous Stevie Wonder fan now. Like that's one of my go-to guys to go to. If I'm in a bad mood, I'll pop on some Stevie, and Stevie will cheer me up. Or if I can tell you right now, if I need to like go to sleep, like somebody to soothe me to sleep, you know who I put on? You know who I put on, Ben? I put on Sade. She can soothe me to sleep. That's why I call her the siren, because she could soothe me. Her voice will soothe me to sleep. And that's probably what I might have to do tonight, because I'm so wide awake now. And I may have to put some Sade on, and just so she'll soothe me to sleep. Like I'll put smooth operator, and I'll just start soothing myself to sleep. I love Sade. She's a beautiful woman. She's beautiful. Still beautiful to this day. Another crush. There you go. Um, um, have you? I was playing Kingdom Hearts 3 cooking mini game. Will make you mad. Hey Chris, I gotta go. I've got a doctor. Good luck or have a good day. Uh, Thoughts on Tekken's Nina Williams, her sister. I saw that. I saw the trailer. That's cool. Um, I like her name, the Scarlet. This what they call her. It sounded like a wrestling name. It was kind of cool. Uh, I can't wait for the Last of Us season 2. Mm. Vanuatu asks, Michael or Prince? Woo! I love them both. I love them both. But if I was to be honest, I have more favorite Michael Jackson songs than Prince songs. I got a lot of Prince songs I love, but I have more Michael Jackson songs than Prince songs. Uh, but they were both kings of their craft. They were both great artists, and I hope they're still making music up there. So yeah. My dad was mad when they brought back. I think anybody could. I can't choose between Michael and Prince. Yeah, it's kind of hard. Um, uh, Ben Axe's favorite Michael song. My favorite Michael Jackson song, "Human Nature." That's my favorite. I think I've said that before. But I could talk about my yeah. "Human Nature" is my favorite. I love the melody to it. I love the vibe to it. Um, Michael kills it in the song in terms of what he's talking about, and I really appreciate that to the fullest. And why am I feel like I'm moving slow? I don't know why I'm moving so slow. Uh, there we go. I don't know why that was happening. Just feels like I'm slowing down. But yeah, like I said, Michael, Human Nature is my favorite Michael Jackson song. I love that song. I love the it just puts me in a good mood. Um, a good mood indeed. Should Trick Williams be in the Royal Rumble? Should Tr- should have Trick Williams be in the Royal? Yeah, I think he could have. I think he should have. Imagine this: Bowser trying to kidnap Rogue. No, that'd be stupid. That'd be really stupid. Um, moving on. Guess what happened? My cat, he almost kicked my spawn statue. Lucky I caught him. Oh, sorry. Uh, Ben Awatu asks, how are you feeling about the women's locker room in WWE? Uh, it's stacked. My issue with it is that we're talking about main roster, right? If you're talking about main roster, it's a stacked roster, but they're having a tough time for people really to get over outside of like the main people, like Rhea. She's over. Rhea, Charlotte, you know, uh, the Bailey and people like that. They're over. But there are people like now that they added two new belts, they added new mid card titles to the lock. They're still like Lyra Valkyria is not over. She was getting over, and then they cooled her off because they took her off TV for a while. And now, whenever she's in a match, the crowd is dead. And I'm just like, that's because they don't push these. They're not giving her time to, do a promo with her, do something. But you have to keep them on TV. It sucks. And I'm hearing after hearing like from reliable sources from in wrestling, like Sean Ross Sapp, saying like they're suffering, they're having some frustration, and I can believe them. And especially when you compare how Shawn Michaels is what he's doing with the women in NXT compared to what Hunter's doing with, it's just like what the hell, like it's night and day. It really is, and that sucks. You know, you got it. You have to give these women more time, give them more screen time to people to resonate and get to know some of these women. Like that's why Lyra Valkyria is not getting over. Um, you uh, she's not over. Like even Dakota Kai is not definitely over because oh yeah, EO's over, but Dakota's not really. Um, it's like you Hunter's forgetting this. It seems like it's like Hunter has forgotten that sometimes these like when Kyrie came back, not everybody is like you got to give people. Hey, you remember Kyrie saying, she's injured right now, but yeah, it's like okay, but Chelsea Green has the United States title, and if you follow her on her social media account, she's doing things on there, and it's just like, why are you not doing that on the programming? You got Mia Yim, who still is trying to find herself. Like you got to help them, but you got to give them time. And you wonder like why are they not getting over, or why people because they're not given time. Like I said, Rhea is solid. Rhea Ripley is a made woman. She can go off for a while and Boom. She come back, they're fine. Bianca Belair can do that too. Matter of fact, I met her husband. At Megacon, Montez Ford, good dude. Um, but you got to keep them in the spotlight, and then you got people like Natty Natalia Neihart. Like she's been there for so long, but you you don't treat her like she should. To me, she does not get enough flowers. She should have been the first Intercontinental Champion. Why? Because that's in her family's blood. Her uncle held that belt. Both her uncles held that belt. So it would only be natural for her to hold it. But you don't. Watch the main roster women's division compared to the NXT, night and day. The amount of time that Sean puts into those matches and the amount of time and screen time those women are given, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's night and day. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I want them to do the best, but it's like they're regressing again. Remember when they were progressing, and then it seems like now they're regressing. You got women on that roster that I'm tired of seeing in one spot. And yes, you cannot push everybody. I get that. But like for example, Piper Nivens. Piper Nivens should be on that same upper echelons of Nia Jax. Piper moves better than Nia. She's a better wrestler than Nia, but they don't push her like that. They keep her in this sidekick comedy act with Chelsea. It's not doing her any good. You give her back her name, but she's still not being who she is. I want to see the real Piper step up. You want to build up this secondary title scope to do it, but you're not doing anything. I met Robert England the past weekend. Cool, AJ. Wrestler that should retire. A wrestler that should retire. Jericho. Says one. Oh, Jesus Christ. For me, I think Metal Sonic is a better android than Cell. I care less about both of them. Uh, uh, if I played the new Monkey King game, I'm going to play his Chinese lane. That's fine. Dominic Mysterio improvement. Dominic is always improved. Always give him his credit. He's a class act heel. That crowd hates his guts, and he gets booed like it's ridiculous. Uh, all right, I'm skipping. Gargoyles. I don't care for a live action gargoyles. AW AW keep wrestlers wanting to leave. Um, yeah, I mean, Tony Khan just released Ricky Starks, now Ricky Saints. Now he's in NXT. Um, Alistair Black was just released, and Miro. But yeah, yeah, we getting. If they bring Freddy Krueger, they had to change his origin story into what? They ain't never changed it before. Have you ever seen Moe's restaurant? No, I have not. If okay, if if Marvel and DC crossover do well, do you think they will see? Probably will. Which character do you hate the most? Never, not really got too much. Thoughts on the Thunder Rosa spot and Timeless Tony Storm. Okay, I'll talk about Tony Storm. Right, Timeless Tony Storm. I like the character that she plays, and but and it's good. But however, she sometimes feels like she's in the same category as what WWE does with Rhea. Is like she gets, who are you building up to face her? They're probably going to do, they're going to probably do Mariah May again, but it's like, what after that? What's next? What's next? You know, sometimes, and that's, and Tony is TK is just not. He needs help. But he's stubborn. He ain't going to ask for help. Uh, in terms of the Thunder Rosa stuff, that was embarrassing, and that did not make her look good. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about or what Ben is talking about, last week she came in during a run-in spot. Now, most of the time in professional wrestling, when the villains, the heels, beat down the babyface, which is the good guy, and another babyface comes out to save that babyface, and they have an equalizer. What do? You run, right? Oh, I got a chair. I'm gonna come in there, and if you don't run, I'm gonna whip your ass with it. Well, that's not what happened. She's in the ring. Thunder Rosa comes in the ring, and she's got this chair, and she's basically trying to put herself between the fallen Chris Statlander, and you got Megan Bain and Penelope Ford up, yeah, just laughing at her, not even doing, and I'm like, what the hell is this? It did not make her look good. I'm like, this is embarrassing. This made Thunder Rosa look like an idiot. And a lot of us in the wrestling game are saying they went into business for themselves. They either went into business or management told them not to sell. And it makes me wonder if Tony Khan is being petty because of some reason or something that she said. And it hasn't been easy for Thunder Rosa because after she got injured, it hasn't been easy for her, but at the same time, you're like, what did she do wrong? What did she do wrong? It's so stupid. It really is. And it made her look dumb. Thoughts on Batman's new suit? It's fine. It's homage of his older costumes. Ain't nothing wrong with it. There are places, too many places to eat in New York City. That don't always go for the big franchises. Go for those little hole in the walls. Like, just that's what I'm saying. Hey Chris, good to see you back since they were around the same time period. Do you think Captain America and Indiana Jones would have had Beta Grit? Yes. I think everybody would have like Captain Dr. Jones. Yeah, that'd be great. July is going to have some good movies, but which movie is going to do well uh, in the box office? Superman, Fantastic Four, Jurassic World, or the Smurfs? I could care less about the Smurfs, but those other movies, Jurassic Park's going to earn its money no matter what. Have you ever seen a Jurassic Park movie that failed at the box office? I'll wait. Jurassic Park's going to do fine. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Superman, I can't wait to see. And Fantastic Four, of course. I could care less about the Smurfs. No offense. I can't. I care less. Uh, what weapons do you want the Monkey King staff? What weapons would you want? The Monkey King staff or Thor's hammer or a White Lantern ring? Mm, which Thor are we talking? We talking Thor from Marvel or just Thor in general? So you got to give me. Do you love Smiley Friends on Adult Swim? What's your favorite episode? I don't even watch that. I don't even know what that is. Uh, have you ever eaten a Reuben sandwich? I'm more of a pastrami guy, not a Reuben guy. It's pastrami all the way, not Reubens. I've had Reubens; they're fine, but I prefer pastrami. Uh, have you ever had a chopped cheese sandwich? That's a New York staple. What do you think about Marvel's Rivals? I personally happy for the success. They brought Cloak and Dagger, Squirrel Girl. You know how many women I saw at Megacon dressed as Squirrel Girl? Um, it's cool. Marvel Rivals is great. I haven't played it, but seeing the gameplay is all it is Overwatch. It's just Overwatch with Marvel characters, and that's great. That's fine. Um, I saw images of Blade. Blade is coming, so I'm like, okay, that's cool. Uh, but yeah, it's fine. It's great. Um, let's see. Today a guy who was judging about my friend because she was a lesbian. I pushed him, stopped it. I stepped up to my friend to support her. That's good. Well done. If you're gonna get physical because of out of just then yeah, you did the right thing. Um, Thoughts on Gwen being in the next season of Friendly Ever Spider? Bring it on! Can't wait. It makes sense. We're bring it on, and she's gonna be either Spider Gwen or I don't know what they're gonna call her, either Spider Gwen or they're gonna call her Ghost Spider. I don't know, but still, bring it on. Uh, who's your favorite wrestler, Hogan or Macho? Okay, that's easy. Macho Man. I was always a Macho Man. I was over Hogan. You crazy? Come on, man. I was always a Macho Man. Look, I again, before anybody comes at me, "Oh, Hogan, you don't like Hogan? Look, I will always give that man his flowers for what he established for the professional wrestling industry, especially in the 80s. He put it on the map, and I will always give him his flowers. But as you get older and you start learning that he was probably the biggest politician in professional wrestling, it's ridiculous. He nearly cost many guys their careers, including The Undertaker. And Taker's got stories to tell you all about that. You don't buy that? Go watch Taker's podcast. He brings it up where Taker thought he injured him and he really didn't injure him. And Taker really saw, okay, now I know what this guy is all about. It's ridiculous. And it's not the first time. He is a pathological liar. Everything that comes out of Hogan's mouth is bullshit. And you can't read between the lines with this guy. You're like, and then of course he that the whole concept now is like, why did people boo him? And it's like, oh, they only booed him because he's a Trump follower. No, he's not. That had nothing to do with it. That had nothing to do with it because Taker's is a Trump follower and Trump supporter, and nobody booed him. LA didn't boo him. They booed him because that fool has not taken accountability for what he said about people that look like me. He ain't, and he is still hasn't reconciled with that. Same thing with what's going on with Tessa Blanchard. You hearing fans call her, still do. She's a racist. We coming for you, Tessa. We coming for you. Like, she ain't gonna take accountability for something that she knows, where the person that she did it to even told her, like, I forgive you. She's not taking. It's like, it's ridiculous. That's the problem with some of them. They don't want to be looked at as being caught in that concept of being, but they it's just stupid. And Hogan has not been doing good. His beer is, this woman is suing him. I'm like, good God, it's ridiculous. Macho all the way. Just put it like that. Who is more arrogant, Black Adam or Doctor Doom? Black Adam. Is it going to be wild? Going to Is it going to be wild? We going to see Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice is what? Wait, what? Hulk Hogan. Why he always lying? Yeah, he's a pathological liar. That's why he can't. Always wants to take credit for stuff that he knows damn well he wasn't a part of. Let me tell you a story about Hogan that I heard from, that you hear Undertaker talk about. So this is 1991. 1991. Hogan, it was Taker for the WWE Championship. He was gonna win it. This was Royal Rumble, I believe, and he's fighting Hogan. And before the match, before they even got to the match, they talk in the back. Hogan tells Mark, Mr. Calloway, Taker, like, hey man, or hey brother, like, I'm a little scared of taking the tombstone. I got this neck injury, blah blah blah, right? And my neck's kind of not messed. Right. What does Taker do? Taker, being professional as he is, he says, Terry, because that's Hogan's real name. Terry, trust me, I'll keep you safe, because that's the whole concept of professional wrestlers. You have to keep your opponent safe, protect your opponent. So we get to the point, match gets ready to take this tombstone. If you remember the match, if you don't have it, go watch it. Ric Flair comes out, and Ric Flair, he slides in a chair, and Hogan and Taker tombstones him on the top of the chair. When I tell you, if you listen to this fool, Hogan literally goes, "Oh, you got me, brother," and starts selling like he's paralyzed. Like, oh, I can't move. I can't move. He goes in the back, and people and Taker's all messed up. He thinks he's hurt Hogan, because this is Hogan. He's the golden goose. He's like, oh yeah, hurt. I'm hurt. He thinks he hurt him. You got guys coming up to him and shaking their, even a young Shane McMahon coming up to him and just going and telling him, Mark, his head never touched. Go back and watch that match. You can clearly see Taker gives him the tombstone. His head fucking never touches the ground. Now, back then, they didn't have the instant replay like they have now, so he had to wait for the footage. Now, this is on Taker's podcast. He talks about it. And he says, when I tell you, I watched the tape back, and I'm watching it, and he says, son of a bitch, his head never touched. Like, what the hell? What the hell? So, Mr. Calloway, the Undertaker, basically goes, to talk to Hogan. And he says, Terry, hey, brother, this is just all Taker telling it. And he says, I watched the tape back. Your head never touched. Oh, what it was, brother, was when you held me so tight, I couldn't move my neck, and making up excuses. And it was right there. Taker knew what this guy was all about. Taker gives Hogan his flowers. Even says, like, yeah, he's on the Mount Rushmore. Taker gives him his flowers, but he doesn't. The man he don't respect, and he's told that many times. And it's not the first guy that have said that, but he just said, now I know what this guy's about. Politicking his way into things, doing it. It's like, no. And people are now starting to see it, starting to see his bullshit. And then when he's caught on tape saying some racial shit and not taking accountability for it, you wonder why people are booing him. Ain't got nothing to do about his politics, where he stands. No, it's about your actions, about what you said. And it's not the first time you got caught saying some dumb racist shit. It's like, it's ridiculous. That's why whenever he's on somebody's podcast and he starts talking about, I don't buy a damn thing he says, because I'm like, you are nothing more than a pathological liar. Get out of here. I would rather listen to someone else talk about you, and then I would more likely believe them than what he has to say. So whenever another wrestler, whether an old school wrestler like Bret Hart or somebody like that, talks about Hogan in the locker room, I believe them over him. All right, we're going. Got a few more minutes. I'll get ready to wrap this up. But yeah, Travis. Yeah, Hogan is always lying. Did you hear that Marvel is developing a Punisher special? Yes, I did. I did hear that. It's going to be in the same vein as Werewolf by Night. That's great. I have nothing against that. And I've already heard people complaining, oh, they better not water it down. And I'm saying to them, I'm like, wait a minute. Did they water down that Werewolf by Night special? No, they didn't. You saw this werewolf. He's ripping throats. He's biting necks. He's doing blood splattering there. It was in black and white, but you knew what was going on. So no, get out of here. I played Dead Space remake and I got scared every time I saw. Oh, okay. I also played Silent Hill remake and I got scared and I dropped the controller. Sorry. I can't wait for the Battle Beast fight against and it's going to play Conquest. Okay. Uh, all right. We're going to end it with these last questions here. Other Image Comics get cartoon animated series? Most likely they probably will. And we're going to end it with Ben's question. Did you hear what Rob Liefeld said about Feige? Yeah, I heard. I read that article. I think it is just downright stupid. Um, I could care 2 cents about what Rob Liefeld has to say. Get your crappy art away from me, man. Like, Rob Liefeld to me is either jealous, butthurt, and all between. About Deadpool and everything like that. He wasn't invited here, and it's like, what are you crying about stuff like that for? Like, it's like he keeps wanting to say, "Oh, he created Deadpool." You co-created him. You did not do it yourself. I'm getting so sick and tired of reading stuff where he goes on and talk about, I created Deadpool. You did not create that character alone. You had help. You are a co-creator. You better give Fabian Nicieza his props. He helped create that character too. Don't sit there and say you created him yourself. I get so sick and tired of that. That's why it was burning me all the time when I would see DC when they would just say Bob Kane, creator of Batman. I'm like, where the fuck is Bill Finger's name? Where is his name? Bob Kane, you did not just create that character alone. Bill Finger helped. When you see Superman, what does it say? Siegel and Schuster. Wonder Woman, yeah, Will Marston is the only one created. But when it comes to Batman, it should say Bob Kane and Bill Finger. And then later on, when they did that Bill Finger documentary, and then later on, yeah, we started seeing Batman created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger. There's even to the points there, like I'll even say the same thing when it comes to Marvel. Like there are times where Marvel, Stan, yes, but he didn't create some of these characters. People tend to think Stan Lee created every Marvel character. No, he did not. No, he did not. Rest in peace, sir. But no, he did not. And when it comes to Spider-Man, he had help. Steve Ditko, the Hulk, Jack Kirby, Fantastic Four, Jack Kirby, Black Panther, Jack Kirby. Like, you got to give them. If I created a character by myself, which I have, then yeah, I did that. But if I could help. If okay, here's a good example. If I created a character, if let's say me and Multi made a comic and we created this hero together, that byline would say, let's call the character Red Justice. It would say Red Justice created by and Multi. I'm never going to take credit for something I didn't do alone. But I hate that is the one thing I hate about the comic industry too, is like there are certain people like they think that it's just them, me. It's selfishness sometimes. Me. I. But then it's like, and Rob Liefeld is definitely one of them. I'm like, you did not create that character alone. You did not. It's like you butt hurt over just pure stupidity, and you're gonna tell somebody. You basically gonna tell somebody that you're gonna run off at the mouth and say, well, Marvel needs to Kevin Feige needs to go after the results of the last movie. Who the fuck are you to tell somebody what they're supposed to do? First of all, you're not making the movies. And you better give Feige his flowers because he was here since day one, putting in the work and getting some of these characters off the ground. And where were you? Where were you? You mad because you weren't invited to a party or something like that? You're not getting credit with that? Yes, that sucks. I will agree. That sucks that comic creators that create these characters, especially for Marvel, they're not getting given like some kind of flowers or something like that. That sucks. I will agree with that. But at the same time, with Rob Liefeld, sometimes he can go fuck himself because his ego is his ego is just off the charts with your shitty artwork. Everyone looks so disproportionate. Everyone looks like they're constipated. Shut up. It's like, shut up. Like, go cry somewhere else. Go in the corner and eat a cookie. It's like how you gonna tell somebody what they should do? This man has been with MCU since day one. I didn't hear you talking all that crap with the success of everything before what's going on now. First of all, and then the other thing about let me say something about Phase 5 real quick. About Phase 5. And I'm gonna end it right here. Let me say something about Phase 5. Phase 5 is not as bad as people make it out to be. See, my issue with people dogging the current movies as of late is because y'all spoiled. Y'all got spoiled with the previous the previous, and then you think everything needs to be a blockbuster. No, sometimes you got to have balance, and these last movies are balanced. They're they are fun. They're not supposed to be just box office like. And stop comparing everything to the last two Avengers movies. What the hell is wrong with y'all? Stop comparing that. When you come up to bat, let's use baseball for example. You come up to bat, you better not be expecting to hit a home run every up at bat. You shouldn't be. Sometimes you got to be strategic. Sometimes you better be prepared to get a single, bring a run in, get a triple, get a double. Not all the time you're going to hit a home run. But I'm sick and tired of everybody. Yes, it is your opinion. I understand that. It is your opinion. You're entitled to it. But there are times, to me, I'll say this before, if these movies are able to make back the budget it took to make these movies, that is a fucking win. And right now, Captain America, New World Order has made back its budget, doubled it. It took them, I believe, 180 mil to make, doubled it. It's not a failure. So everybody out there saying that, oh, it's a bad movie. I talked to personal friends that I trust. I said, was it bad? You saw it. Was it bad? No, it wasn't bad, Chris. They're just complaining because Captain America now is played by a black man. And you know what? It makes it even more because every person that I've seen that said that shit don't look like me. They're peach skin. They go on their little podcasts and run their mouths just to get views. Shut up. And Rob Liefeld's another one. It's like, shut up. You got no say. You got no power in this. Shut up. Go do your little somewhere else, but keep your mouth shut. Go. You should learn your perfection of your art better because your art sucks. Get out of here. Like Rob Liefeld, his ego is just ridiculous. It really is. And I'm telling you right now, one of these days he's gonna say some shit like that to the wrong person, and that person's gonna go around and bitch slap him. I'm telling you right now. These guys better be careful what they say. I'm telling you right now, karma is gonna come hard on them. And I'm gonna end it with that. Guys, look, I'm gonna end this right here, guys. Thank you for coming out. It is 12:20 in the morning here in New York. I don't know where you guys are, but I'm gonna end it right here. I see some comments. I'll read them later. But I was gonna end it with Ben's question. Thank you guys for coming through. I appreciate it very much. I gotta work on some projects for my Patreon. And if you'd like to become a member, whether paid or free, link in the description down below. You can join my Patreon page. There is some stuff going up there for free members, and there's some stuff, yeah, that are for paid members, like, okay, that you only get if you're paid. But as always, everything that I make goes back to you guys in some shape or form. But I will see you guys next time. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Run my mouth. Deuces.